Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Champagne. And you may have noticed that there's actually a division of people on the enemy team with none other than Yonkonomics, Exaflex, and Chaos. So, with all of that being said, I will leave a link to Yonk's channel down in the description. As always, when I run into somebody, I like to shout them out. So, you guys can go over and check them out and see if you enjoy. Now, don't forget, we are on the path to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is our goal. Can you help me reach that goal? Over 45% of you are not subscribed to the channel that come by and watch my channel. So, what are you waiting for? Be a part of our journey to 50,000 by the end of the year. And with that being said, strap in, buckle up, and get ready. Because we got a doozy of a fight. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there right away. Their division spawned cattywampus from me. So they're over at the alpha spawn. I am over here. So we are going to have one of those matches where we get to fight our side, try to win, and then end up with a nice sweaty engagement late in the match. It's going to be fun, guys. I'm not going to lie. We've had some rough games tonight trying to get a video. And I like the Champagne. The new buff is freaking fantastic for this thing. But again, as always, this thing is a bit of a glass cannon, so we got to be careful. We got a broadside Iowa out here. We reach out, we touch him for a really good shot. 5 shells, pins, 18,000 damage right out the gate. I go to use my reload booster a little bit prematurely, unfortunately, and that's going to cost us because we can't shoot anything. So we decide to take what we can get and shoot at a guy that's like 20 kilometers away in the Roma. Very little chance of getting anything out of it, but it was the only thing we had at the time, so we might as well take the shot, right? And unfortunately, he does pull away just at the right time. All of our shells fall short and end up missing. Again, when you're taking those super long-range shots like that, you expect it occasionally. But here, once again, Iowa full broadside, just begging for it. He is slightly angled away, but it shouldn't matter. We've got these high-velocity 15-inch guns that are just disgusting, but we aim a little too high. Again, some of the time my shells end up in places where I don't want them when I play ships that I'm not exactly used to. Like, I play the Champagne occasionally. I don't play it a lot, so leading these high-velocity guns can be a little bit different than I'm used to with my much slower, heavier rounds that I fire out of my American battleships most of the time. But here you can see we've got another beautiful look at a broadside Bismarck, so we're going to go ahead and line him up. We're going to try to angle away here. Expecting the shots from the Iowa. You can see Iowa not expecting our engine boost being on. He's aiming behind us. You can see there is a destroyer in the cap, and our destroyer has come over to assist. And our Summers manages to get their Fletcher spotted. We're going to try to hit him immediately. First shot out, and we are going to get one, I believe, yep, one overpin. So not a lot of damage there, but a little bit. Every little bit helps when it comes to trying to get rid of destroyers. So we're going to keep that in mind. And we are far enough out that we should be able to go dark here. You can see he's in a smoke. There's lots of torpedoes going into that smoke screen, so I expect at any point we could potentially see the destroyer, and there it is. Destroyer comes out just as I start to look away. We make sure that we lock onto the right person. We aim, and look at that accuracy, folks. You'll love to see it as we just slam him for 6 overpins and allowing him to be immediately finished off by our Summers. Huge play to get rid of that destroyer early on this side of the map. Now, rather than sitting out here this far away, we are now going to turn back in and try to get into a position to help with crossfires wherever we can, as the battleships on our side tend to be trying to run away. We're going to try to put ourselves in a position to stay in the fight. Now, having the range that we do on this thing, you can pretty much stay in the fight at all times. I am running Megalomania, for those of you who don't know. Like, I went back to running Megalomania on my French battleships recently for that extra reload. And the Champagne is one of those ships that it's so accurate most of the time that having Megalomania just makes this thing even more scary. This thing has like a 22-second reload stock, and then when you use that reload booster, it is absolutely disgusting. Now here, again, one of the things that I need to work on is trying to utilize my reload boosters more effectively. You can see that this Bismarck is trying to turn away, so this reload booster was probably not the best time here, but we take the shot anyway, and we're going to try to get another reload out of it, but we actually open up and eat another shot from him as well. Which is not ideal. We do decent damage to the Bismarck, and that's going to be inevitably his demise later on. But we've already used a lot of our heals. We've got one more in the tank for later on. And we also have this Iowa. And I'll be honest, this Iowa running away is actually going to be a thorn in my side for a long time as I try to make something happen here late in the game. Look at what the enemy is doing on the left side of the map. They're winning their cap. Big surprise. They're pushing up. They've got the destroyer and cruiser support over there. So they're winning that side, trying to grab the caps. And we already have a 2-cap advantage. So we've got a little bit of a points lead initially if we can just even up the kills. Now, this shot on the Iowa, it looks like the Iowa's a little over-angled. You can see the horizontal dispersion. That is one thing that I will say about this ship. Unlike most French battleships, this thing tends to have very horizontal dispersion, which is the best kind of dispersion to have when you're shooting at a broadside opponent, because it means you are much more likely to land citadels on ships, and that is one thing that this thing is very good at. Unfortunately, we don't manage to get the kill on the Bismarck, so we wasted a shot there. Could have shot the Iowa again here. And you can see we do actually end up underestimating this Iowa a little bit. We try to turn in. Again, manages to miss most of his shells, only one of them on target. We're going to go ahead and take another shot at him, and expecting to disappear here, but their Yudachi actually puts himself in a position. Our Kagero trying to torp the guy rather than using his guns. We get a couple of shells on target on the Iowa, nothing too fancy here. But I was looking to potentially shoot the Yudachi, but unfortunately Yudachi manages to kill our Kagero because our Kagero beaches and catches torpedoes. Unfortunate, and now we have a destroyer with a reload booster for his torpedoes in close quarters to our battleship, which is never going to be a fun idea. Now I have one heal left. I'm going to go ahead and use it here. Probably should have saved this heal a little bit longer, but I can beach here on the island because I know what's going to happen. I'm spotted, right? So we know that the Yudachi is trying to torp us right now. So we're going to stop. We're going to wait. The Vanguard next to me, I'm going to give this guy a lot of credit. Like, this Vanguard ends up playing a very good game. This guy has he has the shot ready to go and manages to land the shot to kill. Oh, I say kill. He took all the health off the guy, and the Summers ends up killing him. But torpedoes are on the way. He's ready for them. I'm ready for them. They're going to sail past us, no problem. That's why we stop short. We don't want to take those torpedoes unnecessarily. We got 32,000 hit points, so we've still got plenty of health. We don't have any heals left. We don't have any reload boosters left. We've got our last engine boost going here, and so you can see I'm still keeping an eye on this Iowa, but this Iowa is literally staying just at the edge of his range. Like, I know he can shoot out to like 20 kilometers as well with the right build. He can actually shoot out to 21 if he has a range build, possibly further than that if he's using Megatron, but most people don't need that kind of range. But it's something to keep an eye on. You can see here we have Yonkonomics and his mines pushing into our caps. We're going to try to put some shots downrange. Now, one downside of Champagne is because they're high-velocity rounds, like, getting rid of cruisers is almost impossible, because you're just going to overpin him. Now here, he turns back towards us, which is actually probably the worst thing he could have done there, because that allows us to get a couple of penetrations rather than just overpin him. But you can see he's also shooting AP, which is interesting because I would have expected HE. The Mines has disgusting AP, but it also has disgusting HE, and I would have expected him to be utilizing some of that HE here. But Georgia is on the other side. Notice I'm not firing my guns right away. The Georgia is still relatively well angled, and I want him to not realize that I'm shooting at him. Okay, so I want to hold my fire for as long as possible in hopes that I can catch him later on, right? This thing has stupid range. Like, look at the range coverage for this ship. This ship can literally shoot anywhere. Now here, I'm expecting Jank to try to shoot or to launch torpedoes into this gap. He's using his plane, obviously, so he's trying to set up some sort of a torp strike on me and the Vanguard, I would guess. Vanguard is actually going to make a bit of a misplay here. He does get, to his credit, he does end up taking Jank out here. Forces the engagement with Jank. He has the British AP. Here you can see I'm going to slip a shot over the top of the island. This was what I was looking for. Look at the mini-map. Look at the angle. Much better angle for the Georgia here. And these shells come in. He doesn't even see them coming, and we slip a Citadel on him and hit him with 4 out of the 6 shells that we send his way. Now here you can see Jank is actually starting to reverse around, and again I'm paying attention, expecting torpedoes here, and he's actually going to take off. Now, he is going for the Torp Strike on the Vanguard. Vanguard has AP loaded and slaps him with the first one. And remember, Vanguard has a fast reload as well, and potentially a reload booster if he still has it this late, which I would doubt that he does. But he still has the ability to potentially smash this mines. And unfortunately, this is the time where our RNG is just like, nope, sorry. You can snipe the citadel of a battleship from 20 kilometers, but you can't hit a ship that's 5 kilometers away in a cruiser. Just how that works. But Jank manages to take down the Vanguard, and the Vanguard manages to take him down. We fire the front guns only at the Georgia here, and surprisingly, we slap the piss out of him. Exaflex eats 2 citadels there. Telling you, Georgia is a floating citadel of sadness for a battleship. It really is. You cannot get caught broadside in that thing, especially by the Champagne. Champagne's guns are so freaking good. If you give this thing a broadside, you deserve what you get. I don't care if you're in a Yami or a Masashi. I don't care if you're in Massachusetts or at Alabama. It doesn't matter. I don't care how thick you are. You can Kansas, Minnesota. You can be all the thickness. And yet this thing will find a way to citadel you with these 15-inch French magic bullets. I'm telling you. But here you can see he's opening up the angle, so we go ahead and lead the shot. And you're going to see pretty good looking shot here. I thought I had the kill, and unfortunately just did not quite hit high enough. Needed to hit a little bit higher up on his ship, get that superstructure, and get him out of here. Unfortunately, he lands a nasty blind fire on our freaking destroyer in the smoke over there. Gets rid of him. We aim superstructure once again, and it's now down to me versus 2 battleships, and I leave him with just enough to get away. And unfortunately, he goes dark, so I can't finish him off. This Roma fires AP initially, and then for whatever reason, this Roma goes full HE mode. Like, I guess he just expected that he wouldn't be able to do damage to me at this point. He's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to do damage. Well, look what he did. He fired his gun, so I can see where he's at, obviously. He's in a smoke, so he cannot spot me, meaning the Georgia can't shoot me either. Because if the Georgia shoots at me, I can't shoot him back. He's behind an island. I can't even see him. So we're going to use this opportunity to try to turn out. Now, obviously, I miscalculated just how long it would take this thing to turn. But I was hoping that I'd get lucky. And his guns aren't in the right position. We're able to get turned away. And just as we get turned away, he's loaded a HE. Now, here's the downside. We get a fire with our secondaries like immediately, which is actually kind of big. We do damage con the single fire because we don't really have much of a choice. I'm hoping that this guy gets into an AP brawl with me and we go for guns and superstructure here. Unfortunately, just not getting the luck here as Exaflex into Georgia starts loading HE from distance as well. Now, we get very lucky that this Roma decides to keep shooting HE. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I just want to force this guy to make a move. I can't overmatch him. I've got 15-inch guns. The only chance that I have is to break his guns and turn in and try to get a broadside on him. And that is when he decides that he wants to turn full broadside. Now, we get a permafire here with the secondaries, which is huge. We got 177,000 damage, and Exaflex slaps the back of my ship and gets a fire. And then the Roma hits me with HE, but Roma is way too over-angled at this range. He's done. There's no chance. And now it's just, will we survive? 28 seconds. We're burning one time. We've got the points lead. The bases are tied up. All we have to do is survive and we win. We've got a pretty solid points advantage here. I can get into their cap and stop them from accruing points, even though I'm expecting to end up having to fight this guy. I wasn't sure if I was going to survive, so I'm trying to get into a position where I can maybe get a cheeky spot. 4, 3, 2, 1... 0.7 seconds away from getting my damage con back, and we burned to death on a shell that literally couldn't have landed any further back if he tried. The shell that set me on fire to kill me. But 197,000 damage, top of the leaderboard, 1,974 base XP. Top of the leaderboard in a loss. But GG's to Yonkonomics, Exaflex, Chaos. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the match. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.